Alright, let's get started. We're going to create a new Xcode project. So I'm going to click on under iOS, single view application. Click next. I'm going to call my application, let's call it iChat. You can call whatever you want yours. Here under your organization name, if you have an Apple developer license, you can put your organization name. Reverse organization identifier is usually reverse domain name if you want. If you have one, if you don't have, put anything you like there. Language, make sure this is Swift, and we are not going to use any of these, so make sure all of them are unticked. So click next, then it will ask where we want to save our project. Well, I'm going to save mine on my desktop. Make sure you have source control Git repository on my Mac, so we have to create this and click create. Xcode will take a few seconds to create our project, and this is our main project directory here. We can see our deployment target here is set to iOS 12 by default, and some information about our application here. So the first thing we are going to do is we are going to build this view here to log in or register a user. In order to do this, we are going to go to main storyboard. Here we already have a view created by default for us. So we're going to use this one here. So as you can see here, we have a label. We have three text fields and two buttons here. So let's create this. So I'm opening my Assistant Inspector here. Let's see why we don't get stuff here at the bottom. Well, this is actually something new for Xcode 10, I guess. Usually we have this under the view here. Anyway, let's drag the text field here. Let's see if we can embed it somehow to the... Anyway, let's get the label as well. And I will need a button. Alright, so the label, we are going to say welcome to iChat, and I'm going to position it here on top. As you can see, I'm using blue guidelines here. I can actually zoom in for a better view. And we have our text fields there. Let me just position this nicely here. And I'm going to drag it all the way out to the left and the right, so it's easier to set auto constraints, and set it in the middle. We can also make this one bold. Alright, so this we have. Now we need three text fields. So I'm dragging one here. Our text field is going to have a placeholder of email. This is the first one. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on text field, select it, Command C, Command V, so copy and paste it, Command V again to paste it one more time. And this one is going to be a placeholder of password. And the last one is going to be repeat password. Okay, so we have our three text fields. Now we need two buttons. So I have one button here. Let's drag this on the right side. I'm going to open it up a bit. Let's change the text to be register. Then I'm going to change the text color to be white, and the background color here, let's set it to the blue here. Where is this? Default iOS blue, yeah. I'm going to select it, Command C, Command V, and this will copy and paste my button. So I can now have selected the other one. I'm going to call this login. Okay, so we have all our views here. Now we are going to set our auto constraints. So select the top label, and here at the bottom we are going to click on add new constraints. On top I'm going to set it to 18, left, right it would be 16 points, and bottom is going to be 31 points. So click add 4 constraints. And as you can see, we have 4 blue constraints, which means everything is fine. There are no errors. Then let's select the second view here, which is our email view. Here I'm going to add left, right, and bottom, because on top we have already set the constraint. Click add, and the same with the second label and with the last one. So this one we are going to do left and right only, because top we have and bottom we are not going to set just yet. And we do our buttons here. So the login button will be left and top, and we can keep the width and height standard. And the right button, register button, is going to be top and right, and width and height standard. So add the constraints, and as you can see we have everything nicely lined up. So if I was going to run this on my iPhone 10 simulator, let's see how it looks now with all our constraints set. Right, here it is starting up. I'm going to position it right here. Let's make this one a bit smaller, so we have place for our iPhone 10 simulator here. Because I'm running it for first time, this simulator, it needs to like start up the iOS on the simulator. While we are waiting for the simulator, what I'm going to do is to open here, and I'm going to add a gesture recognizer. What this gesture recognizer is going to be added to my view here. So every time I click the view, for example, if I click here, and if I go to hardware and set the keyboard, so now I see my keyboard, and if I want to dismiss my keyboard, I can just click on the view here and it disappears. The same thing we are going to do for our view here. So we add a tap gesture to our view, and we are going to use that. So now our simulator is loaded up. We can see all our views here, but when I click on any of the buttons, nothing happens. We just have our keyboard here. While we are here, as you can see, when I'm clicking here, I need to put my password and I need to put email. So when I put my password, you can see it disappears, so it's secure entry. But here, if I put some text, it doesn't show secure. So select email, and under the text input types here, we are going to choose the keyboard type, and I'm going to choose the email address, because we are going to write an email there. And for password and repeat password, you can hold the shift and select both of them. We are going to say secure text entry and make sure this is ticked. And this concludes our first view. So whatever we needed, we just created, and in our next class we are going to do the connections to our view controller.